heroin. This is not just a big city problem, it is everywhere.
New numbers tonight show the opioid epidemic in our communities seems to be unstoppable.
Our area is at the epicenter of the heroin addiction problem.
11 Ohioans are dying every day, an unfolding catastrophe unparalleled in our state's recent history.
The opiate epidemic is worse than any epidemic I've seen. It's in the rural counties, it's in the urban counties, it's certainly in the suburbs, and it cuts across every economic group and really every age group.
It completely devastates their lives and many times, sadly, takes their life.
People try to compare it to the cocaine disaster. This is 10, 20, 30 times worse than that.
Statistics seem to show that Ohio leads the nation, and that's not something we want to be number one in.
I lost my daughter a year and a half ago to a heroin and fentanyl overdose.
I'm the daughter of heroin addicts. I'm a recovering heroin addict. My boyfriend's a recovering heroin addict.
I'm a recovering addict.
I'm a heroin addict.
My son is a recovering addict.
My son's a heroin addict and currently in jail.
My daughter's a heroin addict. I'm the daughter of an alcoholic and addict.
The numbers are growing. I mean, every year we think, well, certainly they can't grow anymore, and then they grow more. There's never been anything like this in American history.
What are we going to do about this? What is our role in law enforcement? We know we can't arrest our way out this. It is a disease, and it needs to be treated like a disease. And if we can do something and we don't, then shame on us.
About 3 years ago, Sheriff Tharp called me, and he told me he had an idea, a new program he wanted to try.
So we decided what we can do is that we can respond to the overdoses. We can respond to the emergency rooms, and we can talk to them about what's available to them.
It's not just enough to arrest the dealers. We have to try to reach people who are addicts and try to get them into treatment.
Law enforcement's been doing the same thing for years and decades. We've got jails and prisons overflowing with people. We haven't fixed anything. We put somebody in jail, they get back out, and they continue this process again.
Women and men commit crimes for heroin. He's getting into jail, getting out a week later, 2 days later, and gonna go right back at it, stealing. You take a man that normally breaks into houses, a lot of houses, statistics show close to 20 a month, to supply their heroin habit. You get that person help for 6 months. It's 120 houses. If we use our discretion about using jail and we use treatment and facilities and get that person better, we're saving 120 victims of their home being broken into.
It's cost effective in terms of impacting theft rates. You've got less booking fees, you got less jail fees. We saved the taxpayer last year $700,000 in incarceration costs. That's a huge amount of money.
My role as a D.A.R.T officer is to bridge the addicted and the officers together. And it starts out with a lack of trust, and then it's my job as the D.A.R.T officer to build that trust.
What they are saying to that individual is, look, you know, you can go through one door or another. That door is to jail or prison. This door is maybe to a new future for you, but you're going to have to stay clean.
We're trying to help people stay out of jail and to get their life back and to get their families back and help them through the court system as much as we can. That's the uniqueness. You know, we're more on their side than against them.
The D.A.R.T unit that we have here in Toledo, like, boy, they worked wonders for me. I was in a treatment program, and I broke a rule. And I got kicked out of that program. And right there was that pivotal moment. And I called Dennis Whaley in the D.A.R.T unit. And I said, I don't want to go back to using drugs. I still want this life. Please help me.
Justin actually contacted me and said he got my number from somebody and said, doesn't have anywhere to go. What can I do for him? I said, give me a few minutes. I'll make a call and see if we can get you into a recovery house.
And I said, if nothing works after 3 phone calls, I'm going back to using drugs because it's easier. And I made 1 phone call. I didn't have to go to 2 or 3. Within 30 minutes, he had picked me up, took me to another treatment facility, and I had a bed.
There's a human there. There's a person there that needs to be saved. And I'll do everything I can to save them.
It's not just government grants that are going to make a difference. It's not just government spending money, but it's the entire community that's going to be engaged in this crisis to help solve it. And that's what attracted me, I think, the most to D.A.R.T, was that it has a lot of confidence in the community.
The opposite of addiction is connection. You find me an addict that's connected to anything other than their drug. They're disconnected from their family, their employment, their friends. So what we need to do is get rid of the addiction and create connection. You connect the addict to recovery services and treatment, and all of a sudden they're getting connected back with their families and friends, and they're creating new friendships, healthier relationships. Not all the time, but most of the time.
What this unit did is it connected the law enforcement aspect, the judicial aspect, the mental health, the medical. You know, it connected all of those independent systems into a larger framework.
I first got associated with D.A.R.T when I checked myself into the psych ward to detox. When they found out that I wasn't just there because I was suicidal, that I was there because I had a drug problem, they called D.A.R.T. A D.A.R.T officer showed up and gave me his card and told me if I ever needed anything to let him know. Over the next 28 days, I proceeded to overdose and die a total of 4 times. After each overdose, they took me to the hospital, and D.A.R.T would show up and ask me if there was anything they could do to get me help. And I pretty much told them to go screw off.
I tell them, you don't have to trust me right now. I'm not asking you to trust me on day one. I'm asking you just to take a chance. And you'll learn that we're here to help you.
They kept showing up to these overdoses of mine, and trying to get me help that I didn't want, and they would not take no for an answer.
We got her sobriety housing, we got her into a treatment plan, and here we are, and she has done amazing.
Thank God they saw something in me that they thought was worth saving, because I would not be here talking to you today if the lieutenant and Officer Pearson and Officer Navarre had not went out of their way to help me save my own life.
You know, they have that hard exterior, but you know there's something underneath that needs help. And you break that barrier down of that hardness that they've had over the years from using, and there's a real nice person under there, soft, that needs help, that wants to help. They just don't know how to do it.
There are about 1,543 overdoses that we know of that were called into 911. 73% went and engaged that treatment and recovery because a D.A.R.T officer went out to a hospital or got a call to go help them, or they called for help. And I think that's huge.
These women we deal with, you're dealing multiple battles. You're not dealing with just drugs. The drugs are horrible, and the drugs are killing people, but you're dealing with a community of problems.
These younger women are being utilized to create monetary gain in terms of prostitution, human trafficking. They're dealing with a male counterpart that may physically abuse them or mentally abuse them or verbally abuse them and deplete them to nothing.
It was horrible. It was just horrible. He would put his hands on me. I would have to get dates to get high, and then give him all the money.
Nicole Lang, I got involved with her because of her mother, Belinda. She called me and was telling me about her daughter who's connected with this gentleman. They were out there running the streets, doing dope. I made contact with Nicole. She pretty much told me to go pound sand, that she didn't need my help.
When I first took these charges, I went to jail, and I'm about to bond out. And here comes D.A.R.T Officer Whaley.
He went right in front of the judge and told the judge, hey, he goes, I have one request. Can we up her bail from $10,000 to $25,000? Because she's not going to stop using it, and she'll be dead by probably next week.
I mean, everything you can call a cop, I called him. I can't even repeat what I said. He's like, okay, you're going to thank me one day. Just know that. And I'm like, whatever, you piece of crap, blah, 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 blah. I did my 30 days in Stryker, and then I got moved here to Toledo to CTF. And one day I get Like the case manager said, you have a meeting downstairs. And here's Dennis Whaley sitting there.
And after that, you know, he kind of kept her on the straight and narrow of just making sure she does the right things and helping to make sure that she got to, you know, court and the halfway house that she was put to. And he's been along for the whole ride.
I had to apologize after I got clean. I said, I need to tell you I'm sorry for how I treated you. And he's like, it's okay. He's like, I expect that.
From where I first met her, where she was just a mess, to where she is today is like night and day.
He's there if I need him. And I never thought I would say that about a cop.
When I hear or I see someone put forth a stereotype that nobody is worthy of being sober in life or conquering the disease of addiction, and they're defined as a junkie, or they're told that they need to die, we're not going to judge them. You can come to us anytime. We're going to help you.
After my brother overdosed and they revived him, he went to the hospital. And I just knew if you guys release him, then he's gonna die. He's gonna go back and he's gonna do this again. And they're like, we can't keep him here. We can't hold him there. Well, my D.A.R.T officer card, man, was that my saving grace, right? I reached in my purse, I pulled it out and called him and said, I'm here, my brother overdosed. They were there in 5 minutes.
You commit yourself to these families and people that are actively using and people that are actively in recovery. And you need to brush off the stereotypes that the police officer has to be cold or desensitized and everything's in black and white and there's no gray area.
My brother is back. His recovery is phenomenal.
That's the first time I've ever experienced an officer that really cares for you, that really genuinely cared with tears in his eyes and his nose all red. And he hugged me. He literally hugged me. He said, man, I'm not here to take you to jail. He said, welcome to the war, man. You just joined the war. And I thought, what? What do you mean the war? He said, man, we're fighting for your life, homie. I'm fighting for your life.
Imagine if today you heard 10 people killed in Columbus, Ohio in a terrorist attack. And then imagine if that happened in Cincinnati the next day, in Ada, Ohio the next day. You know, we would be up in arms. I mean, we would be going crazy.
I can't imagine the death toll probably in Toledo right now had they not implemented the D.A.R.T. Putting these addicts in jail is not, it's not beneficial to anybody, you know, and D.A.R.T. is, you know, paving the way to make things better for them. And so many of these kids are alive because of a D.A.R.T. officer.
These people need medical help. They don't need a penal system. They don't need to go to jail. That isn't the answer. It will be ineffective, and it'll be a waste of money.
We have figured out on a very limited budget in here, working off of donations, that anything is possible. And it's saving lots of money, and it's saving lots of lives and families.
Part of our commitment to society is to protect and serve, and to protect the weak. And at this point, they are the weak. They need help.
I think D.A.R.T. is that key. It's taking law enforcement and creating an evolution like no one's ever seen before.
We have a lot of very, very bright law enforcement officers in our community. And once they see the success and how we operate, then more and more are understanding, yes, this is the right way to take care of the addiction, to take care of the heroin problem. Community policing is helping others and being available and being approachable. And that's exactly what our D.A.R.T. officers are doing. This is community policing at its best.